All right, everyone, this is Angela again. It looks like everyone is here. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this public meeting will be held via remote means. Everything that is said, as well as typed into the chat, will be a part of the public record. Now that all our commissioners are here and their cameras on, we'll start the meeting with a roll call. Chairman Chuck Raymond.
Here.
Thank you. Vice Chairwoman Elizabeth Ricci-Blair.
Here.
Thank you. Richard Gulick.
Here. You
Thank
hear
you.
me?
I can hear you.
Thank you. It's working.
Good. Michael Siki.
Here.
Thank you. And Jeffrey Going.
Here.
Okay, so that concludes our roll call, and we can get started with the meeting.
Okay, thanks, Angela. This is Chuck Raymond. I see no items relative to conservation land management, so we'll move on to new hearings. First hearing, pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent regarding the construction of a barn/farm stand and applicable access areas and gravel drive to farmland, address 980 Central Street, map and parcel 317-11. I see we have no DEP file number. Do we have to continue this, or are we going to have a hearing? What do you have, Angela?
So I spoke to Christopher Anderson today, and he requested that we still open it, and then we'll continue it to the next meeting. So I'm just going to make him presenter.
Fair enough.
All right, Chris, you should be the presenter now.
Great, thank you.
Chris, how are you?
Very good. Yourself?
I'm well, thank you. The floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you. All right, just for the record, Chris Anderson with Hannigan Engineering, here on behalf of Neighborhood Development Trust for the construction of a new farm stand/barn structure at 980 Central Street. Just to orientate ourselves here, can anybody see my page first off?
Yes.
Yes, it's awful small at this point, but yes, we can see it.
Yeah, could you go full screen with that, Chris?
Hold on one moment. Let me put some stuff around. Can everybody see it better now?
No, it's still the same.
Try something different.
The joys of remote meetings.
They have their benefits and then they have their downfalls. I think this is one of the downfalls.
That is correct.
I don't know if I can.
If you double click on the window, you should see on the drawing itself, it should enlarge.
Yeah, all we can see right now is your files.
Is that better?
Here we go. That's better.
All right.
Muy bueno.
Sorry. All right, great. All right, good. Let's start again. Chris Anderson with Hannigan Engineering. Here before the commission tonight for the construction of a new farm stand and barn structure at 980 Central Street. Just to orientate ourselves here, we have Central Street that runs along the bottom of the page. We have the O'Reilly's auto dealership a little bit off to the page to the left, with Brooks Pond residential development being behind the property itself. Currently, the property is being utilized as an agricultural field that's being utilized by the current owner and past owners entirely. As such, this project is being considered as an agricultural project with a riverfront area of 100 feet. Areas subject to protection under the Act are isolated to a bordering vegetated wetland that surrounds the entire farm stand area, as well as a perennial stream that runs along the eastern portion of the property. As you can see here, it's the intent to construct the farm stand structure along the front portion of the site Access to this area will be provided by a paved entranceway that's commonly shared with one of the abutting properties. This will provide access to the farm stand structure with some parking. This structure is going to be intended to be used as a farm stand for vegetables and produce that is grown on the site itself, as well as storage and operations for other agricultural features on this property and the abutting properties themselves. Impervious areas for this project are isolated to the barn structure itself, as well as a small parking area for future customers to the actual farm stand component of everything. The remaining area will be loamed and seeded with a gravel access drive, which will be reconfigured. Currently, there is an access drive that feeds to the bottom portion of the site, and this gravel access drive modification will just allow for that continued use. Water and sewer will utilize connections within Central Street. As for drainage, it's the intent to capture mass majority of the runoff via deep sump catch basins, direct that through a water quality unit, and discharge that to an underground storage system to provide natural recharge capacity on the site. The property is predominantly underlaid by gravelly soil, so it's very advantageous for us to utilize this kind of a system. Essentially, that is it. We are located within the 100-foot riverfront area by a small portion, by approximately 340 square feet, which is about 5.9% of the overall riverfront area on the property, and well within the 10% allowed under the Rivers Act. If there's any questions from the commission, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Turn my mic on. That'd be great. I usually don't do that. Do it once in a while. Thank you, Chris. Can you just go back to the beginning of your presentation and tell us what the wilderness protection act interests are of the project?
So the property is surrounded by bordering vegetated wetlands, that runs along the perimeter of the farm field itself, and those are designated by the A series wetland flags. In addition to that, there is a perennial stream that flows from a culvert at Central Street towards Brooks Pond. If the commission members are familiar with Brooks Pond, there's a large pond along Brooks Pond Road that this perennial stream flows into. Because it's agricultural in nature, the site's been historically utilized as agricultural area. The Wetlands Protection Act reduces the overall riverfront area down to 100 feet from the typical 200 feet.
Okay, as that I don't know, last spring, fall, sometime, Jeff, I think you could probably refresh our memory. The O'Reilly Auto Parts, not the store, but the new building behind it was right, I believe, right next to this property. Is that correct?
Correct. It's on the other side of the wetland area that kind of splits the two.
And the reason I asked that, Chris, is the issue there was that small pond there. Is that not relative to this project, that pond?
No, it's set back from that quite a bit.
It is okay. Well, I wasn't sure the distances. Okay, I wanted to verify. Thank you very much. And the stormwater, I think you call it a detention basin, I believe you called it. The engineered
underground storage system, yeah.
Thank you. And just verify my understanding of the engineering that's basically just a gravel bottom concrete vault. Is that more or less what it is?
These are actually the plastic chambers. So they're an arch system. Chambers, okay.
Yep.
Yep. And they're set within a bed of stone.
Okay. And then so that naturally infiltrates into the ground.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I think those are the only questions I had. Anybody else on the commission have any questions?
No, Angela and I visited last week, and
Michael, can you introduce yourself, Michael, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Michael Seiki. I didn't mean to do that. Angela and I visited last week. Myself personally, I think it's a great addition to the locale, and I didn't see anything that would concern me other than the proximity to the perennial stream.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Anybody else on the commission have any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, I will open the floor to the general public. Does anybody on the call wish to speak on the hearing? If so, please state your name and address before speaking. Second time?
Good evening, it's Peter Bavenzi.
Yep.
I'm the applicant. First of all, I would like to, I know this.
Peter, hold on. Well, I'm asking the general public for comments right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so just we'll get you. Just hold on 1 second. Thank you, Peter. So that was the second time. Third and final time? All right, thank you. Peter, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I would like to invite any members of the commission that would like to walk the site with me. I know we have another delay because of the lack of having a DEP file number, but it gives us the opportunity for me to show you what we're trying to accomplish. And looking, I thought it might be beneficial. That's all.
Peter, is the proposed structure and construction is that staked and flagged out there in case we want to stop by on our own without an organized team?
I could do that, but it's not yet.
It's not yet. Okay. All right. I just thought I'd ask that way. If we were to stop by on our own, like I said, we could at least get an idea of where things are, or proposed to be, I should say.
I'd be happy to do that for you. It's just a barn. What's happening now is that on this property, we have probably 5 different agricultural fields. And we've gotten to the point where we need a small barn in order to store the tractors and to do some of the composting activities that we've been doing in order to support those fields. That's what the purpose of this is.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Peter. All right. Well, so seeing as no one wishes to, nobody from the general public wishes to speak on the project, do I have a motion to? Actually, I take that back. read my incorrect notes. Angela, so at this point, we just go ahead and continue the hearing and hopefully get a DEP number for the next meeting.
Angela Schofield here. Correct. So we'd continue it. We'd keep the public hearing open, continue it to our next meeting. And then at that point, hopefully we have a DEP file number. One conversation I wanted to bring to the commission's attention that I did have with Mike as well as Christopher is that the agricultural exemptions, they do not apply if land has not been farmed in 5 years, and this area is not zoned for agricultural as well. I have a meeting tomorrow with Peter from the building department, our zoning officer, just to go over what the process would be and if we can even issue a permit on land that isn't zoned correctly or not. I'm not 100% sure on that, to be honest. But I did talk to Christopher, and he is working on getting evidence that it has been farmed for the past 5 years as well, just so the commission is aware.
Okay, I appreciate that. That's good information. Thank you, Angela. So at this point, Angela, what do we?
Oh, excuse me. This is Mike Seekey. Could I have one more question, please?
You may.
I was, when I went and visited the site, I did see the what I believe was Bart's old asparagus field in the back there, which I loved, by the way. But I didn't see the other 4 fields. Where are the other 4 fields on that property? It seemed like there was only a very small portion that I could see that was currently farmed.
May I answer that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so there's,
Peter, just introduce. Thank you.
It's Peter Bavenzi. Yeah, there's fields on the other side of the pond, both on the left and right side of the river. And so in the original permitting, we showed those as community gardens.
Okay.
Those have been farmed. There's probably about 50 different individual residents that have their own plots. And we are farming potatoes and asparagus on the remaining land. Part of our goal is to preserve some of the agricultural history of the land and to keep it in farming. We have an extensive plan to do it. including soils, preservation, and I think if any members are interested in seeing it, you'd be very impressed.
I'd love to. I think it's a great piece of property for it, and I think it's a wonderful addition to the city.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So Angela, at this point, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. Do we need a motion to continue it, or is that something that you do?
We can do a motion and a vote to continue it to our October 26th meeting.
Okay. All right. Very good. So do I have a motion to continue the hearing for 980 Central Street to October 26th?
I'll make that motion. This is Michael Seiki.
Thank you, Michael. Do we have a second?
This is Rich Gullick. I'll second that.
Thank you, Rich.
This is Angela Schofield. The rest of the vote will be done by roll call. Vice Chairwoman Elizabeth Ujibalair, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Chairman Chuck Raymond, how do you vote?
Do we need Jeff?
Oh, I didn't see it. Sorry, Jeff. Jeffrey Wayne, how do you vote? Sorry.
I vote aye.
I'm working for you, Jeff. I'm working for you.
Thanks, Jeff. And Chairman Chuck Raymond, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. So the motion carries to continue this to our October 26th meeting. Thank you very much, Mr. Benzie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to continue. That's the last of our new hearings. Moving on to continued hearings. First one, pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent regarding the construction of a new duplex dwelling with associated driveway, grading, and utility connections. Address 1284 Central Street, map and parcel 566-1-1, DEP file number, and we have no number for this one either, Angela.
Correct. The applicant has asked for a continuance for this one as well as the other Leggett Hill lot.
The other Leggett Hill one? Oh, the next one? Okay.
Yes, correct. Sorry.
Okay, and those are going to continue to the 26th?
Yes.
Okay, do we need a motion for that as well?
Since they requested it via email, we don't need a motion for those.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm just making notes. Excuse me. So is it? It's okay. All right then. So do I need to read the other one into? You said there was another Leggett Hill one?
Yeah, so we still read them in and we just state that they're continued to the next meeting.
Okay. So the other one, pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent regarding the construction of a new single-family dwelling with associated driveway, grading, utility connections. Address Leggett Hill Road, Lot 4, map and parcel 566-1-4, DEP file number 199-1135. So we do have a number for that one, but we're also continuing that one to October 26th as well. All right, good. Okay, moving on. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent regarding the construction of a new single-family home with associated septic system and driveway. Address Elm Street, map and parcel 519-12B, DEP file number 199-1137. Do we have is there someone on the call to represent the project?
Yes, sir. Chris Anderson with Hannigan Engineering.
Hi, Chris.
Just for the record again, Chris Anderson with Hannigan Engineering, here on behalf of Mary Foley for the construction of a brand new single-family home along Elm Street. Just to remind the commission, this was brought before the commission a few meetings ago relative to the work. At that point in time, it was decided that we perform a site walk on the property, which was done, I believe it was last week. It's been a long time since I've done that. But it was last week we went to the site, reviewed the property with the wetland scientist on record, Chuck Karen with Karen Environmental. and just went over the general process of what the intent for the restoration of the disturbed wetlands, as well as the replication as part of the overall filing as well. But since then, the plan has remained generally the same. It's the intent to construct a single-family home with a paved driveway along the east or northerly portion of the property. This will require alteration of the bordering vegetated wetlands. As such, we are providing additional areas of replication throughout the site. This driveway will extend into the property to a single-family home, which will be serviced by a new septic system as well as a new domestic well. Besides that, that's the general intent of the project. If there's any questions from the commission, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Angela, this is the what has been on our agenda many times as the Elm Street Hill Street project, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Alrighty. So, Chris, that's the extent of your presentation.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't want to interrupt anything. I don't have any particular questions. I was not at the group. I could make it to the group site walk, but I did walk the site by myself. The site to the, I assume it's the south here, the closer to Hill Street, and I was able to notice the trenches dug in there. But I again, not having walked with you, Chris, or with Angela or anybody else, it's not all in the best context for me in my head. So I'll leave it to the other commissioners who were on the site walk. Would anybody else have any comments or questions about the project?
Yeah, this is Mike Seeke, Chuck. We walked the perimeter. I also spotted the trench there almost at the corner of Elm and Hill, and it seems that that was not that might have been a relief trench dug by the city in sometime in the past, but it's obvious that that area, that corner of Hill Street and Elm Street is where water is congregating. You can tell. I had a question for Chris about the driveway, because where the driveway is located is pretty much on the border. It's on the, I guess that'd be the west side of, so it's going down Elm Street. It'd be on the west side if Hill Street is on the east side. And that driveway is kind of cutting across some of the wetlands that have been identified. And then there's a replication area that's triangular, like a spear shape down almost to Elm Street. Yeah, that one right there. I guess my question to Chris is, because it appears the water is coming almost, the groundwater will be coming across towards that drain that was dug at some point, or that relief trench. Shouldn't there be a culvert and a culvert and a crossing built in there? My concern would be that water would build up. It's still pretty wet in there. It hasn't been raining for a few days. I was up there today. It's still pretty wet, and I'd be concerned that the water would congregate to the west side of the driveway and possibly trickle out onto Elm Street, which wouldn't be a good situation. Kind of where that circular buffer area is. Was there a reason that a culvert wasn't put in there, Chuck? I'm sorry, Chris.
I will double check that. I think the intent was to have it kind of cross over the driveway itself, but looking at it now, it looks like there would be a slight ridge that forms in between the abutting property and the wetland area itself. Typically in these kinds of situations, because it's flat, there will usually be a relief pipe put in underneath the driveway to allow the continued flow.
Yeah.
But that's something that we can do during construction or review later if it becomes an issue. But the intent was to just kind of flow over the driveway as much as possible. But that is a noted concern.
You all set, Michael?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, that brings the question to my mind is, Chris, how standard is it to encourage overland flow versus keeping the water on/in the ground with, like Michael said, with a culvert?
It's kind of split down the middle. Depends on the functionality of the site and the elevation relief. As this area is very flat, it's very difficult to get a culvert of some sort in there, which is typically why we'll do overland flow. But
Okay.
If it does become an issue noted during construction, typically a small 8-inch pipe or so will be installed into the driveway just to maintain flow.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other commissioners have any comments or questions?
This is Rich Gullick. I was
Yep.
fine with the project once I had a chance to look at it and see the drainage and so on.
So you're all set,
Yeah.
Rich?
Yeah, I was okay with it, yeah.
Okay, all righty. Okay, anybody else on the commission? No? Okay. All right, with that, I'll go ahead and open the hearing to the general public. Does anyone on the call wish to speak on the hearing? If so, please state your name and address before speaking. Second time? And third and final time. All right, Angela, I'll close in the public portion of this. Angela, what are your comments on this project?
Angela Schofield here, the conservation agent for the city of Leominster. So I would recommend at this time that the commission issue, I just lost the DEP file number, I apologize. An order of conditions for DEP file number 1991137 with our typical boilerplate. The special, and then this hefty list of special conditions here I have written up. So the first one would be 48-hour notice for erosion control inspection. And at that inspection, the wetland restoration / replication areas will be flagged. A pre-construction meeting will take place with the wetland scientists and or whoever is monitoring the wetland replication / restoration area. And a pre-construction meeting with the builder will happen before building occurs. Our typical wetland replication restoration special conditions, as well as the wetland scientists will be monitoring the site consistently. Monthly reports will be sent to the agent / commission on the wetland to document the growing and any issues that come up with the wetland replication. And then another condition that before the building permit is issued, a growing season must take place and a report from the wetland scientist stating that at least 75% of the wetland replication / restoration area has taken place, and a contract signed by the property owner and the wetland scientist for another year of monitoring.
Is that it, Angela?
It is.
Okay, well that's a heavy list, but I think with the history of the site and how long it's been on and the reasons that it's been on our agendas, I think that's perfectly warranted. Do we then have a motion on the table to approve this project with the agent's special conditions?
Liz, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Liz. Do we have a second?
This is Jeffrey Goin, and I'll second.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
This is Angela Schofield here. The rest of the vote will be done by roll call. Michael Seekey, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Richard Gullick, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Jeff already voted. I apologize. And Chairman Chuck Raymond, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. So the motion carries to issue an order of conditions for DEP file number 1991137 with our typical boilerplate as well as the additional special conditions stated before.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, moving on to our next continued hearing. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent regarding the removal of a fixed dock and replacement with a floating dock. Address 27 Elm Street, map and parcel 121-5. Angela, I don't see a DEP file number on this one.
Angela Schofield here. Yes, so I spoke to Kimberly Roth at DEP as well as the homeowner. There seemed to have been a mix-up. He had to send in some additional materials, and he sent them with the check to the main office in Boston. And the check is supposed to go to Boston, and the permit is supposed to go to Worcester. So he's working with the state to kind of iron that out. And I'm keeping a close eye on it. He did request a continuance. And when I spoke to him on Thursday, he said he should have it all squared away, hopefully this weekend. And he'll update me this week. And of course, yesterday's a holiday, so.
All right. Wonderful. So it's already been read in, and we'll just go. So we just need a motion to continue it to the 26th.
Correct.
Okay. Do I have a motion to continue this into the October 26th meeting?
This is Liz. I'll make a motion to continue to the 26th.
Thank you, Liz. Do we have a second?
This is Rich. I'll second it.
Thank you, Rich.
This is Angela here. The rest of it will be done by roll call. Michael Siki, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. Jeffrey Goyne, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Chairman Chuck Raymond, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. So the motion carries to continue this hearing to our next scheduled meeting on October 26th.
All right. Thank you. Well, moving on to the next one then. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on an abbreviated Notice of Resource Area Delineation, or ANRAD, regarding the resource area boundaries. Address 0 Nashua Street and 0 Mohawk Drive, map and parcel 323-6, 323-10. And no DP file number because it's just an ANRAD, correct? Correct, Angela?
Nope, Angela here. I apologize. We did get a DEP file number for this one.
Okay.
I just didn't have a chance to update it before the meeting, amend the agenda. So the DEP file number for this hearing is 1991139.
Okay. Wonderful. So DEP file number 199-1139. Thank you, Angela. Is there anyone on the call to speak to the project?
This is Ron Stroessel from Oxbow Associates, representing Aaron Industries Corp.
How are you, Ron?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. The floor is yours.
Okay. I think last time we were just waiting for the DP number. There were some comments from DP that came along with the number regarding our narrative. And I think I requested in the narrative that we were going to, along with the BBW approval, we were also going to request approval of the BLSF on the property and the extent of bank on the property. I think we're going to just withdraw those requests at this time. Neither really seem relevant to any future work, so we're just going to request the greatest horizontal extent of the BVW on the property. If I could share my screen, Angela.
Hey, Ron, why are you doing that? Oh, I'm sorry.
I apologize.
I just have a quick question to educate myself and maybe some of the other commissioners. Ron, I think you touched on an acronym that either I don't understand it or I misunderstood you. Did you say BLSF?
Yeah, BLSF is a bordering land subject to flooding.
Thank you.
The FEMA floodplain line.
Okay, thank you.
So according to, let me, 1 second here, I can show you. Whoop, wrong one. This came from the Leominster GIS website. So you can see the gray hashing is zone X, so that's the 500-year floodplain. But this blue hashing here that just extends up into the property is depicted as the 100-year floodplain on the Leominster GIS website. But if so I had originally thought that it extended onto the property. I had the surveyor look into it. And if you look down here, he said that the FEMA floodplain line is actually at elevation 298, but he took this line from the FEMA maps itself, so it doesn't enter the property. And if you actually look at the 298 line, it's somewhere around here, and it may extend into the property in this area, but I'm not predicting any future work from, you know, anywhere on this part of the property anyway. So I think we're just gonna leave it off of this ANRAD, but you guys can make a mention of it in the notes or something that, you know, BLSF may extend onto the southern boundary of the property. And, you know, well, we could show it in a future NOI if necessary, but I don't expect any impacts that come of it. And then very similar, the same thing with bank, since at least this one, you know, they all seem to be intermittent streams. The bank, in my opinion, is, you know, coincident with the BVW flags, just because, you know, the bank is defined by the mean annual high water line, and basically none of these really flow all that significantly, that and everything's so steep that basically the limit of BVW is essentially the bank. But since I didn't have you guys look at that specifically in the field, I think we're just going to leave that off for the moment as well, just not to confuse anything. And if we come back with, you know, bank impacts during an NOI in the future, we'll be sure to address it then. So you guys could also just put that in the notes, that bank has not been addressed in this NRED.
All right, thank you, Ron. You all set?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, and just a question for myself, just to make sure that I and the rest of the commission know what we're looking at. So the part that we were talking about, that approximate floodplain line geographically taken from the flood, so that is not the subject property. The subject property is to the right of that, correct?
Right.
With all the
so
contour
the
line?
subject property is this area,
Right.
and delineated by this line. So
Good.
according to FEMA, it's not on the property or the FEMA, you know, visual, but I think there's an elevation associated with it. With the surveyor said was 298, and he said there just wasn't enough, you know, topo spots down here to officially call out exactly where it is. So we're just not going to address it at this time.
That's fine. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page and knew what we're looking at.
Yep.
That was my only question. Does anybody else on the commission have any questions or comments on the ANRAD? I almost said the project, but there's no project yet.
Yeah, there's no project.
All right. Since none of the commissioners have any questions, I'll open up to the public. Does anyone on the call wish to speak in the hearing? If so, please state your name and address before speaking. Second time? And third and final time. All right, so that'll close the public hearing as a part of the ANRAD. Angela, what's your recommendations on what to do next?
Hey, Angela Schofield here. I just had one question because I'm trying to take notes while listening. Ron, so you want to pull the BLSF from the ANRAD, so it'd just be for the bordering vegetated wetland?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I don't,
Yeah.
With that being said, I would recommend that the commission issue an order of resource area delineation, or ORAD, for DEP file number, I apologize, clicked out of it, 1991139, with the amendment that they will only be for determining the bordering vegetated wetland.
All right, okay, good. Would anybody like to make a motion for with Angela's recommendation?
This is Liz, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Liz. Do we have a second?
This is Jeffrey Goinen, and I'll second.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. This is Angela again. The rest of the vote will be done by roll call. Michael Siki, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. Richard Gulick, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And Chairman Chuck Raymond, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. So the motion carries to issue an ORAD for DEP file number 1991139.
Wonderful.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time. Okay, moving on to the final continued hearing. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a request for determination of applicability, or RDA, regarding existing retaining wall repair and rebuild, adding 13 feet, paving existing gravel driveway area. Address 519 Pleasant Street, map and parcel 494-4 something, with the drawing and the Angela, I see no DP number.
Hi, Angela here. Yes, so for some reason, my Microsoft Word and my sleep-deprived brain, it was supposed to say withdrawing with a hyphen. Since Mr. Gonzalez is no longer the property owner, the commission can withdraw this RDA application.
Oh, okay. So do we need to make a motion or anything, or?
Yes, it'd be ideal for us just to make a motion just to keep everything kind of neat and tidy.
Okay, so how should the motion be worded?
I would recommend for the motion to be worded that we are withdrawing the RDA request for 519 Pleasant Street, and then I can move off the agenda.
Okay, great. Do I hear a motion?
This is Rich Gulick. I'll so move.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
This is Liz, I'll second.
This is Michael Siggy. Whoops, sorry.
It's okay. We go on from Liz. Thank you, though, Michael. Okay. Thank you, Liz.
This is Angela Schofield here. I'll start with you, Mike. Mike, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. Jeffrey Goyne, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Chairman Chuck Raymond, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
So the motion carries to withdraw the hearing for 519 Pleasant Street.
All right. No. So, Angela, what about all the enforcement actions that had been on our agenda for so long? What happens to those?
So the enforcement still follows the land. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
This is Angela here. So I am trying to connect with the new owner. Unfortunately, his work hours kind of collide differently with mine, so we keep missing each other. I did send him a letter, and he did leave me a message that he was going to try and stop by, but of course I wasn't in the office when he stopped by yesterday. So I'm still trying to meet up with him to kind of go over the enforcement, and then discuss, what he's able to do, and then bring it to the commission and see what we would like to do.
Okay. Thank you. That's good to know. Appreciate that. All right. Moving on then. I see no new business and no old business. Under certificate of compliance. First one, standard order conditions for Leggett Hill Center of the State.
Yep. So as Mr. Anderson has stated when we were discussing the hearings earlier, they're still kind of waiting for the certificates of compliance to be issued by the state. And then the next one on there, I accidentally just left it on there. We voted on this one at the last meeting. I just didn't delete it.
Okay. Do we need to do anything officially while we're on the call for either one of those?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to extension permits. 96 Exchange Street, Heron's Landing, 2, 199-1061. New expiration date of July 3rd, 2022. What do you have on that, Angela?
So I did talk to the wetland scientist, Matthew Morrow. He did go out there, he did reevaluate the wetlands, and he thinks that is possible that the finger may have extended. I am waiting for him to hang up the flags, and I'm going to go out with my auger and confirm the wetland delineation. And then my recommendation really will depend on if the delineation is the same as the original project filing, or if it's changed. If the wetland delineation is changed, the commission should, in my opinion, my recommendation would be to deny the extension, have them file a new project with the correct delineation.
Okay, but that's not for tonight. That's for future consideration.
Yes, I need to get out there and.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thank you. So we don't need to do anything with this tonight, then, right?
No.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Alrighty, moving on. Communications, nothing there. Meeting minutes for September 22nd, 2021. I went through it. I did not see anything of no glaring errors to me. However, one thing I might ask though, near the end, directly above the bold heading emergency certifications, it says, "Okay, I wasn't doing anything with these drugs." I don't know what that refers to. Was that a stray comment that we need to be stricken from the minutes?
Angela here. So I may have missed that because I did speed read these, but most likely, so there's a transcription. Basically, when we do the recording, it records everything we say.
Yep.
And so it's not always accurate. And then human error, obviously, we miss things. So I will go back and fix that. Thank you. So can we continue these to the next meeting? Because no one was talking about drugs.
Yeah, that's something I would have recalled. And one other thing, just to make these, Angela, I don't know if this is a major issue or not, but in going through these, like each one of each one of the items, I wonder to make it easier to read and understand going from one hearing to the next. Could you or whoever's doing the transcribing, can you maybe highlight in bold the applicant information? You know, the address and the DEP file number. Just so that it's because right now it almost looks like one several pages of just continuous text. If we can kind of highlight each individual project, would make it a little easier to read.
Absolutely, I can do that very easily.
That'd be great. Thank you. Anybody else on the commission have any comments, substantial or otherwise, regarding the minutes for September 22nd, 2021? Hearing none, Angela, do we need a motion to accept these minutes with the noted changes?
Yes, my recommendation would be for the commission to motion to accept the meetings with, I'm sorry, I hear a dog, with the changes. Yeah. And then I will, once I do the changes, I'll send it out for a quick proofreading and then I will post them.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the minutes as transcribed with those changes made?
This is Michael speaking.
Thank you, Liz.
Liz, I'm sorry, I keep over talking you.
Okay.
I'll second the motion. Chuck, this is Mike speaking.
Perfect, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'll make a
Thank you,
motion to accept the minutes with the added comments.
Thank you. And when we had a second from Michael.
Okay, sorry, I was just making sure. Thank you, everyone. The rest of the vote lead by roll call. Jeffrey Goins, since you're absent, we're going to skip over you. So Richard Gullick, how do you vote?
Aye.
I don't even get the chance to abstain.
I don't even get the chance. And Chairman Chuck Raymond, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. So the motion carries. I will edit these and post them.
Thank you. And I apologize for the dog barking. My daughter just got home and it's very exciting.
It is. Dogs are exciting.
Okay, moving on. Under enforcement, 519 Pleasant Street update meeting with new owner. Angela, I assume with that our previous conversation kind of handles this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to connect with him.
Yep, that's fine. And Peninsula on Lakeshore Drive, bank eroding due to past alteration. We discussed this last time, did we not?
We did. Everything is moving along. So hope we'll have an update for the next meeting.
Okay. Wonderful, thank you. Let me just make a note for myself. Alrighty. I see nothing under emergency certifications. Budget. Request for transition of money from WPA fund to fund an intern position in the office. Angela, looks like you sent out a legal advice request. Did you get a response from the city solicitor?
I did receive a response today, or yesterday, actually. I have not had a chance to read it, so I request we continue this to the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So I guess that comes to the end of the end of the agenda. Next, we have the next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 26th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Deadline is last Friday, October 8th, 2021 at noon. Angela, so I assume at this point we need a motion to adjourn.
Correct.
Okay, do I have that motion?
This is Jeffrey Boyne. I'll make that motion.
Okay, I will take Jeffrey as the motion, and Michael, do you want a second?
I will second it. Thank you. This is Michael Seeke.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Angela Schofield here. The rest of the vote will be done by roll call. Richard Gulick, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And Vice Chairman Elizabeth Fuji-Blair, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. And Chairman Chuck Raymond, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. So the motion carries to conclude this meeting, the October 12th meeting of the Leominster Conservation Commission.